Hey guys, like I said, I'm still working on getting everything set up for the new editions for the show. Somebody once asked me about my collection of comics that I have. And pretty much I said to myself, I really haven't thought about that. It's been a while since I've actually gone through my collection. And people have asked me, like, what do I have, that's interest me and what I've collected over the years. And I started going through all my boxes. Turns out, actually enough here, I'll show you. Come here. As you can see, I've got a lot of fucking work I've got to do. I have oh my god, I didn't even know I had half of these. That's how crazy this is. So I've got a shitload of work I've got to do to go through all this, and I'm hopefully gonna go through some of it and show you some of the ones that are some of my favorites, and even some of them I didn't even know I had. So yeah, this is gonna be a long one, long day for me. Yeah, God, I've got to get more organized. Okay, well, let's see here. Geez, this took me longer than I thought to organize all this, but yeah, okay, so here we go. Where do I even start? Geez, what do I want to start off with? Let's kind of do the DC part first. Like I said, I am a fan of Batman, but sadly, I don't have a lot of Batman comics. That's really kind of a shame on my part. At most, this is the extent of my Batman series collection. I just started not too long, reading Sirens. And then, right off the back, this is pretty much one of my favorite Batman series right here. Batman Streets of Gotham. Let me see here, what was it? It was issue 15 was the one that really got me hooked on this series because I love Two-Face as a character. And I didn't really know much about Two-Face until I started watching the animated series back in the 90s when I was a kid. And I just love the character. It's just a great way. I mean, we all remember these, don't we? Batman Odyssey. Dear God, do I hate this comic. Why did I even finish? I didn't even bother getting the rest. I mean, I just knew right off the bat this was a bad comic. I just needed something bad to review, so go from there. Like I said, I've got two of the one-shot editions of Batman The Return and then Batman The Dark Knight. And then I have the Batman Beyond, which I already did a review for that. I also have some Teen Titan comics. I guess because I liked the series when it came out. Okay, so let's talk about some groovy comics. Or should I say groovy, like the Army of Darkness series comics. I am a fan of Army of Darkness, and these are just really fun to read. I mean, most of them are. I've got a few of them. Here's one where Army of Darkness, Ash saves Obama. I can't believe they even made that. Here's another one, Evil Dead #1. And then there were a couple of more where it's Ash versus the Reanimator. And the covers are really nice. The artistry's really good. I mean, they still have this style. This one almost looks like almost off of the movie itself, The Long Road Home. Here's another one. This is how Bruce Campbell should look if he's ever cartoonized. I'm sorry, but that's just great right there. Oh, and on top of that, hey, look! It's a movie that will never get made, but they decided, let's make it into a comic book. Let's see here. Let's just say I was a fan of the Gen 13 series when it came out. I have a whole lot of the books. I actually enjoyed the series. They were fun, they were quirky and witty. I mean, sure enough, it was almost like a Generation X ripoff at the time, but, Scott knew what he was doing. He had really good artwork with his style and everything, so going on. Like I said, I have an extension of the series almost to near the end. A lot of the books are not covered in plastic. I have to get more. I used them. Actually, I just used up like 100 sleeve, 100 package one just doing the Deadpool. And I was still didn't even have enough. I pretty much ran out all the way near the end of the series to the end. Or should I say the end of the original series. Let me see here. This Is How It Ends is the final two. Well, not really the final two. The final two stories of the books. And I gotta say, it was a really kind of a shame. I mean, I don't know if the sales were doing that good, because I didn't know a lot back then about sales with comics and stuff. And the thing was, you know, I guess they weren't doing so good, so they decided to cancel the series, but I guess they forgot to realize that, you know, the series had a huge fan base. And, you know, growing, I guess they demanded for another Gen 13 series. So then they came out with a new type of Gen 13 series. It was basically, you know, a bunch of new kids, new characters. Fairchild was alive in this one, which was very hard since they killed off everybody in the last series, which a really lousy way to go to end a series by killing everybody off. But I don't think it did very well. And by that time, I don't know what Wildstorm was thinking, but I don't know if it did very well. And the series, I guess, was trying, but it just didn't do very good. So I guess they got up to a certain point with the book and just decided to cancel it because the sales were doing bad. Then, I guess after some time, let me see here, and it's been a while, they tried to reboot the series. And I haven't really caught up with this one, but like I said, I mean, it's a little hard for them to reboot a series that did well and then didn't do so well, and then try to redo it again. I mean, it was just very hard. So I haven't really caught up with the new Gen 13 series. I only have like maybe a few of the comics, and that was it. Spawn. Let's just say right off the back, I was a huge Spawn fan back then. I think what really got me hooked on the series was basically when the movie came out. Todd McFarlane had decided to make a Spawn movie, and we all remember that one, don't we? Yes, I think the only thing good about that whole movie was basically John Leguizamo as the clown. And I just got really into the series. I love the idea of a character for some reason, you know, being brought back to life and then redemption. I love stories like that. Sadly, I haven't kept up with Spawn in a really long time. It's been a really long time since I've caught up with Spawn, and this is the earliest comic I have, Spawn number 10. I mostly got my fix off on Spawn with the graphic novels, and I don't even know what's really going on with the Spawn series as of lately, because I think the last book I have was, actually, yeah, right here, Spawn 134. That's the last book I ever got. I think I have another one lying around, but by that time it's a large gap in the story, so I don't know what's going on. I mostly got my information caught up with most of the series with gaps, because Spawn at that time was already out, and I hadn't started reading it until, you know, the talk of the movie, so it looked really awesome to me. Of course, I did not know what I know now. I got my fix for the graphic novels. And as you can see, I have a ton of them. Like almost the entire collection of the graphic novels. I mean, I haven't really kept up with it. And that's kind of a shame, because I really did enjoy this series when it came out. Now, here's a couple of them. I think we all might remember. The Batman and Spawn saga. Yeah, Batman was teaming up with a lot of people back then, you know, from almost to the fact more than what he was teaming up with in his own universe. This one here is done by Doug Mochin. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And Chuck Dixon and Alan Grant. I got this one, but this is not really my favorite one. This is actually kind of a little dull, if you ask me. The artistry seems a little... I can tell the artistry seems a little choppy. It didn't go too well. The story arc is not that well as either. I mean, It's really bad. Now, luckily enough for this, they had made 2 versions of this, where DC made Spawn and Batman. Todd McFarlane in Image Comics made Spawn and Batman. Now, this one is really good, because this one is done, surprisingly, this one's done by Frank Miller and Todd McFarlane. And it's got Todd's art style to it, and it's really great. And the cool thing about it is that even after this book was over, there were a few features they left behind where it still stayed on in the Spawn comic, which I liked. Now, case in point, where Batman and Spawn basically were okay with teaming up. They didn't really even question one another. They just teamed up and fought the good fight and won. Spawn and Batman couldn't stand one another. Almost to the point where they almost kicked the crap out of each other more than they kicked the crap out of the bad guys. This was just really... this is why I thought this one was better. Because, you know, how do 2 heroes actually react? I mean, like... this was just funny. I mean, mostly enough at the time, it was just really funny, and especially to the point where I guess somehow Batman got in Spawn's head and Spawn got in Batman's head, and it was just really funny. And they made a Superman joke in there somewhere. It was really funny, and I liked this one. This is why I thought this one did better than the last one. And this is the farthest Spider-Man comic I have to date. No, that's not even with it. Amazing Spider-Man, 374, Venom Attacks. This is the oldest book I have. I don't even know what the value of this is, and frankly, I'm a little worried about taking it out and even trying with it. But this is the oldest book I have, and I've got a lot of Spider-Man comics, mostly Amazing Spider-Man alone. And here's the one after this. Man, this was a great cover. I mean, sparkly. I mean, look at the way the light just shines off this thing. I mean... Back then, they really thought about cool ideas doing with comics and covers. Now, eventually, you'll probably get a cover that's like 3D, and that really sucks. I really hate 3D. But like I said, I don't even know where this one goes. Actually, why did I even put this in the amazing pile? I don't even know which one this one goes to. I mean, it's not even labeled. I mean, enough. And this is as far back. I mean, most of my collection starts off at about... basically, 437 till now. And, oh man, I gotta say right off the back, this was not a good idea. I did not know what I was doing. I put like multiple comics into one pack, and a lot of my books are double packed, which is probably a good idea, but triple or quadruple pack is a really bad idea. You can already tell from looking at the plastic that most of the covers inside are pretty worn out. That's my little kind of tip at that. If you're gonna put 2 comics in one pack, you know, one on one side, one on the other, that's probably a good idea. Triple, if you're just trying to save yourself some money and, you know, the plastic, not a good idea to go more than that. So pretty much my collection goes all the way, almost all up to what it is now with the new editions of Spider-Man, like this one, big time, Amazing Spider-Man 648. Pretty much I've got almost all the books from 400 all the way up to like now. Oh, we all remember this one, don't we? Yeah, I'll be honest with you, I really hated what they did to Peter and Mary Jane, and a lot of people might agree with me and maybe don't. I mean, one moment in time seemed to be like the final nail in the coffin for Peter and Mary Jane. And let's just just basically the way they ended. I mean, sooner or later we all knew Mary Jane was going to have to decide whether to leave Peter or move on. But the way they did it is just really crappy. But I will say right off the back, if I ever decide, I do like this cover, despite the fact of blood and the knife. I do like this cover because looking at this cover and recently seeing it again, it gives me an idea to actually dress up like Spider-Man if he was in a tuxedo. So if I might actually do this. I might literally do this, you know, which means it won't be that hard, you know, until I figure out how to make the mask. And then try to figure out how am I going to deal with the webbing around the suit. But, you know, I'll deal with that. I know I've got time.